Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues of Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
We're going to do this classic Batman-Superman team-up story. It might be one of the first post-crisis team-ups for Batman and Superman. I swear, there was like this weird mandate within DC during the post-crisis era where they're like, don't have them cross over too much because that would be too much fun and people would enjoy it.
People will remember the fact that they used to be really good friends. And,
Yeah.
And they have to be new friends.
Yeah, it has to be more influenced by Dark Knight Returns where they're like bitter rivals or enemies.
Maybe they were like, no, make them want it.
Yeah, really tickle their balls a little bit about whether we're going to see those two become the world's finest team again.
Is it like comic book edging?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. We saw that, of course, in the Man of Steel miniseries with Magpie, and then we have this. And that's like, I think pretty much the next time these two cross over.
Where they're just like, oh, it's you.
Although, no, there's another time they cross over, but it's really brief in Adventures of Superman. And that's the whole story that we kind of teased of you and I and Ethan over on the Man of Steel episode, about how there was a whole subplot about Ma Kent's scrapbook goes missing. And ultimately, Batman is given the scrapbook to find out who was messing with it. And Batman reveals that he uses the scrapbook to find out that Superman is Clark Kent. And then Superman just goes, I know you're Bruce Wayne. And so that's how that fun reveal is handled.
You mean they're not just friends and they tell each other?
No, they don't. They have to find out.
Why
I
would they
just
do
trust
that?
you enough.
This is technically called Superman the Dark Knight Over Metropolis.
So
but
it's
they
a
spell
Superman
it
book?
K-N-I-G-H. Yes, it's a
Okay.
Superman story. It is embedded firmly in Superman continuity, and this is a perfect back issues because it's just non-stop references to other things that we're never going to cover or talk about. But you need to know it. They want you to think, ooh, like a self-contained story about Batman and Superman.
Is it?
Such that it crosses over 3 of Superman's titles, Superman, Adventures of Superman, and Action Comics.
Superman had 3 books?
Eventually we get Superman, Adventures of Superman, Superman Action Comics, and Man of Steel Superman. Not to mention, of course,
Who do they think he
Superman,
was? Batman?
Right?
It worked for him. It can work for me.
Like Batman and Superman both had 3.
Oh, okay.
It was Legends, Batman, Detective.
And then there was Wonder Woman
And that's it.
and,
Sometimes there was no Wonder Woman. Like, there was Wonder Woman or it was canceled.
wait, so, you know.
And that's it. But
So you had one book and you were thankful for it.
that's right.
Is it written by the same team across?
Straight up, no. No, it's 3 completely different teams of people
Because they're working on their books.
Yeah, doing part 1, 2, and 3 of one story.
Are they talking to each other?
Yeah, in the Superman offices, they're all coordinating.
Okay.
But not
they're
the Batman offices.
No, they're the Batman. I mean, they're all coordinating back then. In the early 90s, they were all very much on the same page. Because they had to be, because the book were coming out like every other week. So it's like you had to make sure that it all lined up or people get confused. So this is just a meeting of Batman and Superman in a Superman title. So Superman obviously is the one who is following the narrative or pushing the narrative. It's also collected in this handy trade, Superman Dark Knight Over Metropolis. But this one also collects a couple of random Superman stories that have no Batman in them, and one really fun Action Comics annual in which Superman and Batman fight vampires. And it's pretty fun, and I debated whether I wanted to do that
I feel like we've referenced that before. Have we read something of that?
Nope. Superman and Batman fight a suspicious amount of vampires. Because you may be thinking of the time that Superman and Robin teamed up to fight vampires.
Oh, maybe
Or
I
the
missed one
time
thing.
I do
that
remember
Superman
that.
and Batman teamed up to fight vampires and werewolves. But this is the time that Superman and Batman teamed up to fight one vampire.
Oh.
Not to be confused with the time that the JLA teamed up to fight vampires.
Is there like some sort of vampire issue in the DC
There's an
universe?
edict. You must have vampires in one story per year. Actually, it was Man of Steel.
Actually,
It was the Man of Steel meeting where they first meet, and that's like a retcon from John Byrne. And then there was the scrapbook story, but also there was that Action Comics annual in which Batman and Superman team up and fight a vampire. And really, they don't. It's ridiculous. But for now, we're just going to focus on the Dark Knight Over Metropolis. The context for this is, of course, Clark Kent and Lois are working together. There has been some flirtation with the idea of Lois being in love with Superman, or even being interested in Clark.
Is Batman gonna get punched by Superman?
That's what that cover suggests, but is not what happens.
Cool. Also, that's the worst dinosaur I've ever seen.
I've seen worse dinosaurs.
Yeah, it looks like the mouth is painted on.
But he's just really round looking.
Yeah.
He's,
I know, and it's a cover.
It's like the top of him's an inflatable dinosaur.
And yet the penny is immaculate.
The penny's spectacular.
You know why?
Someone didn't know how to draw a
had
dinosaur.
reference.
I got a good reference for the penny, and I'm not gonna go buy a toy dinosaur. Or maybe he did, and that's just a crappy toy dinosaur.
That's what a dinosaur looks like. I'm pretty sure I know what a T-Rex looks
Listen,
like.
Hang on, my kid's got one of these.
Yeah, exactly. Michael's Craft Stores knows what a dinosaur looks like. All right, let me just grab one for $1.98. Clark has convinced Lois to go out with him exclusively. So they're dating.
Oh, so they weren't exclusive before.
They were not. And that's more or less because the people in the DC offices are like,
Well, that's just what people do.
we can't like push it. Like, I don't want to have to deal with a married Superman, although we are steamrolling full speed ahead towards them getting married. And in fact, I think they were kind of playing with the idea of will they, won't they, and teasing the audience, but then Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, is looming with their inevitable marriage, and that changes everything.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is like the 1940s and 50s. This is like Archie and Betty and Veronica.
Yeah.
You can date multiple people. You don't have to settle down.
Yeah, but now they are. Like, Clark basically has a new lease on life where he's like, Lois, I want to go out with you. Let's date. And she's like,
Where my S?
right. She's like, all right. So
Does it say this book is 75 cents?
yes, Superman and Action Comics and Adventures were all 75 cents a piece.
That seems like madness.
I don't know to what you're referring. Do you mean madness in terms of what a savings, like Grapthar's hammer? Or do you mean that's overpriced? Because these are essentially just the same kind of comics you can buy now for $5.
I guess I just feel like even it was this 90?
I want to say it was 90 or 91.
This is copyrighted 1990. But 75 cents still seems low.
It is pretty low. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty low.
Like
You
that
mean-
seems like what?
Incidentally,
You mean like things have cost what, 6 times that amount now?
yeah,
Well, yeah, but I mean even then like I would see this as like $1.25.
absolutely. Oh no, and you should have seen Harlan Ellison, noted famed author, made like a special video where he complained about the death of Superman and how Superman's died like 6 times before that and why are we caring right now? But also he really had a problem with the fact that issue was like $5.
Well, that's fair if you were charging 75 cents.
Yeah.
But do these come with an armband?
Exactly. The polybagged issue is the one he's complaining about, and that one came with goodies. It came with a full-blown poster that covered your bedroom door,
Okay, that's
as I
fair.
know from personal experience, and an armband, and a trading card, and a article about Superman's death that had to be written by somebody.
Does this just say eyes only?
Yeah. Like, whose eyes? Yeah, no. And that,
No braille.
the opening of
You can't read this with your fingers, don't even try.
The opening of The Dark
Fine.
Knight Over Metropolis is just a context page that tells you who these random people are who are not Batman, Superman, Lois Lane, or Lex Luthor. So you're just like, okay, because this is, as I said, like this is pitched to you as a kind of a self-contained, ooh, what a fun new adventure.
Yeah.
But it's neck deep in Superman continuity and recent Superman continuity. So really quick, the Eradicator came. He forced Superman to embrace his Kryptonian heritage through brainwashing. They built the Fortress of Solitude.
Right. This is him post being like Krypton sucks.
Yeah, but then after John Byrne is no longer directly involved in the Superman origins and everything, Roger Stern shows up and is like, no. So Eradicator forces Superman to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage, makes him wear a Kryptonian original suit, and then
Look at yourself.
yeah, and literally there's a moment in his brainwashing where he makes the Kents, his mother and father, fly to Metropolis. He picks them up, and then he brings them to his apartment where he subjects them to Kellex and his other robots and his floating chair, and then he brings them to the Fortress of Solitude where he's like, this is me now, Mom and Dad. You just gotta deal with it. It was like his goth phase. And they were just like, what's wrong with you? And eventually he does break with the programming, and then he smashes the statue made of his actual birth parents. And then in this story, he just zips over there, rebuilds them, and goes, I guess I am kind of Kryptonian. But you're like, what?
Yeah, why can't you just be like, oh, I have 2 sets of parents?
That is what we do.
That's where we get. eventually.
That's how he manages to square that circle, but it has to go through an adventure with the Eradicator and brainwashing where he has to like give his mother a heart attack because they're both like octogenarians. But
Also, like, it's the North freaking Pole!
I know, don't drag those poor assholes there.
They're gonna get pneumonia and die!
There's also a great story during the Man of Steel / Superman John Byrne era. I believe it was Superman by John Byrne, where Lex Luthor hires a brilliant computer scientist to make an AI computer that will be fed information about Superman, all the information they have, and then tell him what his secret identity is. And then the computer is like, it's Clark Kent. And Lex Luthor goes, no! This machine is stupid! You're stupid! This is all stupid! You're fired! And this machine, dismantle the machine! You wasted millions of dollars!
This frumpy son of a bitch!
Well, he literally is like, Superman would never pretend to be a worthless, fleshy human being like me.
Even though he's built the exact dimensions of Superman.
Clark slouches.
Listen, you can only slouch so much.
I know it's true. But he's met Clark Kent. He's looked him in the eye through his impossible to decipher glasses.
It's not like he puts on like a tummy or something.
He wears a suit that's 2 sizes too big, so it's loose fitting.
Yeah, it's funny, but he's still huge.
I know. But he's like, no. It's more like Lex Luthor refuses to believe it. But also, he doesn't believe it at all. And so this woman is fired in disgrace and then is like, no, my machine was right. Like, I believe in my machine so much that Clark Kent must be Superman. So she's upset. She's a plot point in the story. That's why I bring her up at all.
Oh, okay.
Lex also clandestinely ends up with Kryptonite, and he fashions a fragment of it into a beautiful ring, which he wears, and then he gets cancer from it, and he has to cut off his own hand because his hand starts to
Holy
get...
shit!
Yeah, so Lex is...
Does his hand start turning into like a weird Kryptonian monster?
It does not become idle hands, but with Superman in it.
Wait, is he cutting his hand off because he's stopping the cancer?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why. And so he has a robot hand at this point. And this is one of the many deformities that Lex Luthor suffers.
All right. Doesn't masturbate with that hand.
Yeah, oh no, I gotta cut that off too. And that's why I gotta make a clone body from Australia. And that's actually why, though. He's like, I will be damned if I have a robot hand! So he makes the Gadai Superman.
Once he cuts his hand off, does he then continue to wear the ring?
No!
Okay.
No, he puts the ring in a special case. Yeah, he's like, get that shit away from me!
They didn't do any testing on it beforehand?
Nah.
Hand.
So he puts it in like a special case and just leaves it someplace far away in his lab where he can think about what to do about it later. But that also comes into play because the lady who is disgraced by Luthor returns to the lab and steals the ring. So that happens as well. It's a plot point in this.
Well, now she's going to get cancer.
Well, she has a special lead box.
I was going to say, only if she wears it.
Yeah, she knows better. Although she does recognize that Lex did get cancer from it because other people are just kind of like, I don't know why Lex lost his hand. They're just like, oh, Lex lost his hand. That's weird. And Lex and only the Inner Circle knows that it's because of his exposure. Because he was wearing it like a piece of jewelry. So that Superman wouldn't go near him, you see.
Right.
So inevitably she is like, I know what that is and I know what it does because of what happened to Lex. So I will keep it in like a box. But she does like, oh my God, why am I carrying this around? Like at some point she really muses that to herself in this story. But so she's involved. Also, Cat Grant, recently created fixture of the Superman extended family, working at the Daily Planet, she ends up embroiled in some shenanigans involving Intergang.
Oh no!
Yeah, Intergang is directly involved. So let's go over the eyes only confidential report here, which says
I hate Intergang.
I know they don't really they're in it a lot, but they don't really matter. There are 3 main players to the story that you don't care about and don't really matter, and you need context for immediately. One of them is Morgan Edge. Morgan Edge is on trial. He is a tycoon entrepreneur who is working with Intergang, and he is being sent up the river. And if he flips on Intergang, that's curtains for Intergang, or at least it'll be inconvenient. So Morgan Edge is being prosecuted.
Okay.
And Cat Grant is a key witness in that prosecution. So Intergang and Morgan Edge want Cat Grant dead. Also, Cat Grant is stooping this dude named Jose Delgado. Jose Delgado is the second person to occupy the role of a Superman extended superhero character called Gangbuster. And Gangbuster is basically Metropolis's Batman. And Metropolis's Batman, Gangbuster, was originally Superman.
But you don't have to have a Metropolis Batman because you have Superman.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yes!
But you need Gangbuster, apparently, and Gangbuster, he more or less operates in a very specifically narrow area of Metropolis, and that's Suicide Slum. So the key players of Superman, Dark Knight Over Metropolis, is Morgan Edge, Cat Grant, Jose Delgado, Superman, Lex Luthor, that lady from that previous Superman story, Batman, also Alfred's in it. Also, Slam Bradley shows up And you're like, all right.
There are only
Why are there 3 titles of Superman?
3 issues. Of
Yeah,
this.
there's only 3 issues. I know. So
How are you gonna fit everybody in?
So Inner Gang sends Blind Spot to.
Who the hell's that?
Blind Spot is a.
Well, you can never see him.
That's right. He's cloaked. He's a cloaked agent for Inner Gang who is there to steal Cat Grant and bring her back to Inner Gang.
I think that's called kidnapping.
There you go. But instead of killing her, they want to bring her to Inner Gang's headquarters where they can brainwash her so that she can give compelling testimony in favor of Morgan Edge. I'm like, just kill her. What are you doing? The mob isn't this intricate. What the hell's wrong with you, Inner Gang?
Well, the mob can't brainwash people.
That's right. The mob doesn't have Blind Spot and brainwashing machines. So Delgado takes Cat Grant and her kid to go see the 50th anniversary re-release of Gone with the Wind.
Wait, isn't she like a witness?
Yes.
How is she allowed to do this?
They just say that. Like, Delgado's like, why are you risking this? And she's like, because my kid is freaking out. I don't want my kid to freak out more.
And he's wearing like a Venom shirt.
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry, the 50th anniversary of what?
The 50th anniversary of Gone with the Wind.
And her kid wants to see it.
No, she wanted to see it. She dragged her kid to see it. And
Good, because like no 11-year-old wants to see Gone with the Wind. It's boring.
it's true, but I will say this 11-year-old does have a lot of questions and comments about Gone with the Wind that are used for dramatic effect throughout their walk. Because, of course, we're opening the story. We know it's a Batman-Superman crossover. We know those are rare, and we want to capitalize on all this. So we see a becloaked figure in the shadows watching over them, but it's also clearly Superman because it doesn't match Batman's cape, and we can see his hair. Also, it's a Superman book. But we also want to recreate this kind of crime alley scenario, right? Because we got the mom, the dad, and the kid.
And the theater.
They go from the theater to an alleyway, and Delgado's like, why are we going in an alley? This is a stupid idea. I'm Gangbuster.
Have you ever heard of the Waynes?
I wish they'd even said that, but we're not doing that right now. But they're going through this alley because Cat parked across this way.
She parked her Jaguar.
That's right, yeah. So they're going through the alley while Superman watches. Blind Spot attacks them, and then just starts wailing on Delgado. Thankfully, Delgado is being tailed by Slam Bradley.
Whoa,
So
that's great.
yeah, I know. It's really fun.
It's like active camo.
It is. Okay, so the art and writing shifts through each chapter. This one is written and drawn by Jerry Ordway. So kudos to Jerry Ordway and his depiction of moving brick walls. At some point or another, Delgado takes the kid's full bucket of popcorn, which of course wouldn't be full after watching the 9-hour cut of Gone with the Wind, but he dumps it onto Blind Spot, which of course reveals him because popcorn is notoriously adhesive.
Oh, it's so sticky, especially if you're, I guess, covered in water?
Your version of this doesn't have a random Capri Sun comic in the middle of it.
No, because I have the trade paperback, which unfortunately doesn't always recreate the ads. Delgado uses that opportunity to make off with Cat and the kid, while Slam Bradley stays behind. Superman arrives.
I mean, he got punched in the face.
Yeah. So Slam Bradley is met by Superman. Slam immediately shoots Superman. Superman's like, whoa, bud. Because Slam's a trigger-happy madman. Superman uses his X-ray vision to see that some walls don't have internal organs, and then grabs Blind Spot and he's like, "Who are you working for?" He immediately strong-arms this guy, and you can see the good cop, bad cop routine with Slam Bradley and Superman's the bad cop.
Oh, sweet. So Blind Spot actually has technology that allows him to be invisible.
Oh yeah, no.
I thought it was a superpower for
No. Well, it becomes a superpower, but Inner Gang has access to apocalyptic technology, so it's super.
There are too many dudes in these scenes who look too similar.
I know. Delgado and Slam, they're both. Well, they do try
they
because
have different hairstyles.
Delgado obviously also has a different skin tone to Slam Bradley, but they're both
wearing khaki-colored costumes with
dark-haired
dark hair,
dudes,
and
yeah.
at a quick glance, I'm like, what? Oh,
I know. So Superman smashes Blind Spot's cloaking technology. We have another character we got to introduce, and thankfully he's already been introduced, but that's Emil Hamilton. Hamilton is just A-Star Labs scientist, and he's a friend of Superman's. He has invented, in this continuity, the signal watch that will get Superman's attention, which he triggers. Superman's like, ah, crap, the signal watch is going off. I got to go tell Hamilton to stop using this damn thing. And Slam, you deal with this guy. So Slam arrests Blind Spot while Superman goes to visit with Hamilton. Hamilton gives him a spiel about manufactured kryptonite. It doesn't matter. It's not important. But he also mentions
that's Kryptonite on the screen. And I was like, his name's Dr. Hamilton, which is almost Hammond.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like he's got an island.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's just a rock. So what I failed to mention in the previous issue is that the woman who worked for Luthor, who recovered the ring from Luthor's lab, left a voicemail for Clark Kent at his house, telling him to meet her at a cemetery, which he does. Upon which she reveals, I know you're Superman, and takes out the ring. Superman is immediately one-shotted as a result of this. He's just like, oh!
I'm just so shocked that you would say that.
Oh no, he's sweating, he's falling apart. She's like, oh, I can see that you're Superman. Tell me! You gotta say it out loud! I'm not a fraud! And he's like, all right, I'm sorry. And then he passes out. She thinks he dies. And
Jesus, lady.
So she runs away. And she's like, oh, I think I killed Superman. I just wanted to prove that I was right. In a really aggressive manner. Yeah, good job, lady. So while she's running, she passes by an alley, and a couple of street toughs, they grab her and they murder her.
For killing Superman.
No, they're not just like, man, this is for Superman. No, it's just a crime of opportunity. And so she drops the ring, and the ring is just left in an alley somewhere, and she dies.
And so does anyone that picks up the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're not going to know to cut off their hand.
So Superman reminds the reader about that story in one panel and half a sentence, upon which we see that there is a woman who was found in Metropolis who was bludgeoned to death, and so we have that information. One of the detectives in charge of that case was like, damn it, this isn't Gotham. We don't have to have random acts of violence in a major metropolitan city.
Don't we?
But he's really upset. But it's also an opportunity.
Maybe if Superman's unconscious.
Right? But this is an opportunity for us to transition from Metropolis to Gotham, where we see an old man, he's a vagrant who has his cigar box. He is being attacked for his accoutrements.
Oh, it's accoutrement?
Yeah. So Batman watches this happen.
So I'm just going to see how this plays out.
Let's see where this how this goes.
See what he's got.
Yeah.
All right, he committed a crime. I could have stopped it.
Well, now he's committed the crime, so I can get involved, because he's really by the book. So Batman swoops in, he scares the crap out of the punk, ties him up, and then goes to deliver the cigar box back to the old man, but the old man has died. And Batman...
Way to go, Batman!
I know. Batman assumes that he dies from alcohol poisoning because he's homeless, and his skin is jaundiced and all that. So Batman finds that odd. He looks through his things now, and the attacker who's tied up...
he's dead, so I'm allowed to look through.
Yeah.
These are no longer his.
That's right. I'm just looting the body.
They belong to the city.
And I am the city, so they're mine. And the dude who's tied up was like, hey, Batman, what are you doing? What kind of ghoul are you? Don't ransack that poor old man's stuff. I was gonna steal it, but he's a corpse now. You're just grave robbing.
That ain't cool.
Yeah, that's not cool, man. And so Batman sees the ring, and he's like, this is weird. So he puts it into a special capsule that's lead-lined, and he leaves with it.
That's very convenient.
I know, he has a thing. He mentions that it's actually supposed to hold explosives, so it's specially protected. So Batman leaves for the Batcave to analyze it with science.
Yay.
Meanwhile, Luthor is just mad that he's
just mad because he's looking like the Kingpin.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not a derivative. I'm the first. I came before Kingpin, man.
Look at me, I'm Brando.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you should say that, because Ordway is definitely drawing people from real life. There's a moment in this book where Batman is just straight up Michael Keaton in the Batman costume from '89.
Yep.
You just drew Michael Keaton Batman, which, by the way, is cool. And I think Ordway drew the Batman '89 DC Comics comic book adaptation, which it's immaculate. I've never seen a comic book look like that again. Anyway,
I mean, I've seen it. It's just I've seen it on the
in
big
that,
screen.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. So Luthor is mad that he's got one hand. This is only there to establish that Lex Luthor is in this book. He is an antagonist. We're going to establish the ring and that it was his, that it is indeed Kryptonite, and that he runs a journalist awards ceremony called the Zenith Awards banquet. And so that's happening soon, and he's going to have to go to that even though he doesn't want to. So
he's going to have to interact with Lois Lane and Clark Kent.
Which he hates.
I really enjoy the juxtaposition of that newspaper clipping with him there, because it shows his public persona being this happy,
public face.
Yeah, and then what he's really like.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Those newspaper clippings will also be used to transition between scenes or to like
Oh yeah, I've
noticed
noticed that. Yeah.
It's a neat idea. I don't know if it's done to successful effect, but it is a neat thing that I like seeing in this.
It works in a Superman book because of his ties to the newspaper.
I love that.
Well, and it also like breaks up the page too.
That's true. We also see Mannheim is there. Of course, he's the leader of Intergang, and he wants to deal with Cat Grant. Now Blind Spot failed. Now I'm going to send 2 Booster Gold villains to go after him. And that's in the form of Chiller and Shockwave. Now Chiller and Shockwave both appeared in a Booster Gold comic book.
Yeah, they look like they're a team.
Yeah, and I think they basically are.
They look like they're a team who's on a Zoom call.
Yeah, and they are essentially, but like why? Chiller is the chameleon. He can physically mold his face into anyone as long as he can see it and work from like
Why
reference.
is his name Chiller? I thought he was ice themed.
Because he's gross. And then there's Shockwave, who can smash things. Match made in heaven. Total theming is working really well here for these two characters.
Moldable any person and
Juggernaut.
Smasher.
Like what? Mannheim is like, I want them to go get Cat Grant and bring her here, but I also need to distract Superman. So I want Intergang to send like a cadre of villains, not like costume villains, although they will wear costumes, more like foot soldiers. I'm gonna send some foot soldiers to the gala who will also kill Clark Kent and Lois Lane, who facilitated Cat Grant's treachery. Because I want to send a message that says that people who cross Intergang will be punished. But also, killing Lois Lane and Clark Kent will distract Superman enough for us to get away with Cat Grant. I'm like, what?
Especially if you manage to kill Clark Kent.
Yeah, so we got Clark Kent and Lois Lane who are going to be assassinated by Intergang foot soldiers. We got Cat Grant who's going to be recovered by Chiller and Shockwave. We have this missing Kryptonite ring.
Aren't we like halfway through the first issue?
Yes.
Wouldn't you want to distract Superman with these supervillains?
I already have those, and I'm using them
But
to
shouldn't
attack
you use
Cat
the
Grant.
Cat Grant's but a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Superman already protected her once.
Yeah, I need to
Right,
distract
but like
her.
I'm gonna use these guys to go kill Clark Kent. And, he doesn't know, but like kill Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Wouldn't you
Right.
send the big shiny super villains over there?
Sure, that makes sense. So Batman steals records of the vagrant's autopsy. And he's like, yep, he was an alcoholic. But also, he had abnormally like large traces of radiation poisoning.
He was
But he
also
wasn't an alcoholic though. I called it.
Yeah. I'm
he
still
was
the world's greatest
also
detective.
49.
Yeah. Those are some Gotham City miles on that guy.
Holy crap! He looks like he's 85.
He was being slowly poisoned from the inside by that freaking
I'm just
ring.
saying, like,
Which, by the way, like, so does Lex
That's
Luthor look
horrific.
older than he is because of that ring?
Only his hand.
Only in the hand. So Batman is like, all right, so that thing that I have that I put over there now is radioactive. And so he's like, so then he looks into that guy and he finds that like, alongside all the other trinkets in that man's box were subway tokens for both Gotham and Metropolis. So he's like, maybe that was a vagrant who went from Metropolis to here. Could this be from Metropolis? So Batman turns to Alfred and he's like, hey, wait a minute. We have like an excuse to be in Metropolis because we were invited to that. Did we get an invitation to that Zenith thing? And Alfred's like, you get lots of invitations. You don't go to any of them. And he's like, well, I think I've passed the RSVP date, but do you think I could get away with going anyway? And he's like, yeah, you're a billionaire.
You're Bruce Wayne. Of course you can.
Yes. So he's like, cool, gas up the jet. We're going. So we need a private jet to do it.
Well, you can't go in the Batplane.
I really like.
I don't think there is a bad plane.
I like Alfred's face because it looks like he was like, oh, I was going to go.
Well, he is going.
No.
But like, I was going to go to the gala too.
Yeah,
Now
like-
I have to go to the hotel.
Yeah, and
Damn it.
Yeah, and be like, you know, the man in your ear.
Exactly. So Batman is like, get my shit and gas up the jet and let's go.
Go be a butler, man. What are you doing?
Right?
Go be Bruce
Bustle.
Wayne.
Get to work.
Buttle.
He muses about reaching out to Gordon to get some information about like radiation cases in Metropolis, which will of course lead him to other things, which we need to have closure on in the story. Meanwhile, Superman goes to the fortress, he rebuilds the statue of his birth parents, and then he leaves. This is just, he does that. So Superman's like, I gotta get to this date with Lois. I don't want to be late because I'm Peter Parker now for some reason, and I don't want to screw that up. And you know, oh, you were late again. You strike three, farm boy. So he zips in and he takes Lois out for a date while Batman looms overhead. So then we get to chapter 2 of our 3-part Superman story that also has Batman in it sometimes. And this one is written and drawn by Dan Jurgens. Because like that Eyes Only dossier that we got,
Yeah.
they keep adding crap on top of it. So like there's a post-it note. As soon as we have Cat Grant, call Dr. Moon. Who's Dr. Moon? New character! And maybe it's a reference to like that cultist Sung Young Moon? I think it is. But anyway, Dr. Moon is going to be like the specialist who will provide the brainwashing that we need to make Cat Grant sing for us.
Okay.
We also get a Priority 1 update about how Chiller and Shockwave are in position and Blind Spot fail. I'm like, what is up with that? What is up with those meta text? Like, don't give me this. I don't care.
Don't you?
No. So Superman is flying around Metropolis, and he is pissed because Batman's here, and he can feel it. He can smell him. He's just like,
here's heartbeat.
Right. He doesn't do that. He just says, I can feel it. I can feel him in my city, in my turf. And I'm like, Superman doesn't say that, but all right, whatever.
Superman, you're not Batman,
So
okay,
he's-
honey? I'm
but
sorry.
he's like, if Batman's here, that means trouble's not far behind. I don't trust that guy. He's a vigilante. He's a maniac. He's a maverick. I don't like him. One of the things that I love about Dan Jurgens depicting Superman, particularly in your like weekly Superman stories, is how creative or how bored he must be drawing people in capes, and how much fun he is drawing people in capes. I've never seen anyone play with the cape the way that he does, where Superman is like, all right, after his date with Lois, he goes back to his apartment, and there's just a note from Batman. And Batman must have like either bat letterhead or he draws a bat every time.
Maybe he's got a
It's a
stamp.
perfect bat.
Yeah,
It's like in one of his things. He's like,
Yeah. In fact, that's what...
No, he just inks his chest and then slams it on the piece of paper.
Yeah, I think it must be a stamp because that's what Zack Snyder must have borrowed for his version of Batman. The brand that he uses into people's flesh, you know, when he burns a bat brand. No, that's just an echo of what they did in the comics where he had just a rubber stamp.
An echo, because it's a bat.
So when Clark gets back from his date, he has like a note from Batman that's like, we have to talk. And then doesn't give him a location or a time or anything like that.
He knows he can figure it out. He knows, like, Superman should know exactly where he is.
Right.
If Batman found me, then he'll find me again.
That's true. But
so when he wants to talk, we'll talk.
Exactly. So Superman's flying around, but he waits on a rooftop, and I just love the image of him using, like, the cape is wrapped around him, and the wind is pushing it closer to his body. It's just like a really cool image. You never see the cape clung to Superman's body. It's normally billowing. We'll see that later, though, with more cape stuff, where like he'll be looking at computers or whatever, and the cape's like draped over his shoulders.
I thought you were going a very different place with that sentence. He's looking at computers. He's looking at other people's capes. It's just cape porn.
Yeah.
Cape porn all the time.
Capeporn.com.
I mean, that's what not Jerry Ordway.
Dan Jurgens.
Dan Jurgens is doing.
Definitely. He's Dan Jurgensing all over this place. So Batman sneaks into the Metropolis coroner's office to go check out the other person who died with traces of radiation poisoning.
Okay.
He manages to...
This is the hobo?
No,
it's
the
the
hobo's
woman.
the hobo died in Gotham. This is the woman who died in the alley.
Is
Okay.
this the scientist?
The scientist.
Yeah.
The Jane Doe. They don't have any data on her. They have no idea who she is. So Batman...
They're not doing dental records?
Someone doesn't want her to be found.
Listen, I've watched enough.
Insert procedural drama about that on TV.
There's plenty of ways to figure out who this person is.
Maybe she didn't
Bones
get
crossing
regular
Jordan.
checkups.
Yeah. So Batman takes her fingerprints and takes some pictures, and then a security guard shows up, and he's like, "Hey, you cool? Get out of here! You're under arrest!" And
Admittedly speaking, this guy's not used to Batman. Like, I'm sure in Gotham, there's like, Batman's in there, don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Don't go in there right now. Just let him finish up. Let him think that we don't know.
he is like, "I know you're really chummy with the cops in your city, but not here." And he's like, "Okay."
Well, I mean, not only that, but like, look at how he's dressed. He's dressed scarily, and he's hanging over a dead body.
It's true. So the guy's like, so Batman goes, "So what are you gonna do? Cop, you gonna shoot me in the back?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna lead you out."
You're under arrest.
And then Batman's like, "Bye," and just jumps out the window.
hey,
I don't know if you know this. I'm Batman.
He literally just climbs out. He goes, "Hey, if you don't get out of that window right now, I'm gonna hit the alarm." And he goes, "Do it! I dare you!" So he does.
hang on a second. Throws the boomerang, hits the alarm himself.
There. Oh no! I took away your only leverage. So
Excuse
Superman-
me, it's a batarang.
Did I say boomerang?
You did
Yeah,
say
you
boomerang.
did.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's a batarang. So Superman hears the alarm and he sees somebody skulking across a rooftop. So he goes there. He's like, "All right, Batman, I knew it was you. It's Gangbuster."
Dude, that guy doesn't have a cape. Batman, or Superman, you know Batman has a cape.
I only met him 3 other times,
You didn't remember the cape?
and maybe once in Legends. I think that also happened.
I haven't memorized his heartbeat yet.
That's true.
He doesn't look anything like Batman.
So
This could be a brown and orange capeless Batman.
yeah, with big shoulder pads.
Oh, okay.
So Batman shows up. Superman and Gangbuster are chatting it up. Because Superman's like, I like the cut of your jib, Gangbuster. Even though you're literally Metropolis's Batman, you beat the living hell out of people, you don't have powers, and you operate outside the law, I suddenly like you more than Batman. Maybe because you're not scary looking.
And you look a little bit like Daredevil, but you seem friendlier.
Well, but you know what it is? I made up this whole outfit and costume and identity, so I already have endorsed it.
Yeah, but it's like, he's got a fist on his thing.
Yeah, with a Ghostbusters logo.
Yeah, like no.
Yeah, no gangs.
No violence.
No gangs or whatever. So
or no solidarity.
No bones.
Yeah, no bones. So Batman shows up and he's like, "Hey guys," because Superman basically says something like, "You're a regular guy. You're in Metropolis. It's going to be like Superman level threats. I don't know how well you're going to do here." And Gangbuster reveals that he's been through a lot. He's been like paralyzed and shot, and he still keeps going.
Superman's like, "Listen, I appreciate what you're trying, but
it's cute.
I'm Superman.
I'm good. It would be like as stupid as if you were operating as Gangbuster in Keystone City.
I'm just saying, like, what is it you do here?
Right.
Exactly.
I bust gangs.
Do you?
I mean,
I did it earlier.
Yeah, you didn't see it, but I definitely did.
Okay.
Because I can hear everything, and I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I think you're just saying that. I think you're just running around on the rooftops.
Right? Waiting to bump into me again. So,
you want to be friends?
So Batman kind of like endorses Gangbuster. He's like, hey, listen, if he could handle he can handle the heat, Superman. Like, if he couldn't, he would have quit by now or be dead. Anyway, we have to talk.
Anyway, I want you to deal with the Robin too.
Right. So he says to Superman, we got to talk. And then he looks at Gangbuster and goes, alone.
Don't worry, I like the cut of your jib. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes. It was a compliment sandwich. So Batman leaves. He's just like, all right, follow me, Superman. And Gangbuster's like, man, Batman is pretty dope. Like, I wonder how many times he's been shot or paralyzed. And I'm like, no, not for another couple of years, Gangbuster. But even he is a badass.
Don't worry, he's going to take it really well.
Yeah, he's going to be definitely just like you and just immediately get up and not replace himself. During this era, we're going to have both members of the world's finest team be beaten to near death and then replaced with multiple versions of themselves. So, Gangbuster, obviously, he's Jose Delgado. He's Stuppen Cat Grant. Cat Grant goes upstairs and she's like, hey, Gangbuster, let's make out. And he's like, hold on a second, like, what are you talking about? And then the roof gives way and he falls downstairs and he meets up with Shockwave. And Shockwave's like, hey, and Shockwave
I wasn't after you.
Shouldn't Superman have known they were in the building?
He's distracted by Batman. So Shockwave beats the living crap out of Gangbuster. So Chiller shows up and he's like, I pretend to be Cat Grant to like honey trap you into being distracted so the Shockwave could break the thing and then make you fall. Haha. Now I'm gonna be you.
I know you didn't smell right.
Right? So he's like, I'm gonna morph my face.
So wait, does his suit morph too?
Sure. It does, so I guess. So Superman and Batman go meet up with Alfred at the car, where they use his special bat computer and bat fax.
It's just a car.
It's just a car.
And Alfred stands outside to be like, all right, you may use the vehicle.
Right.
Look at Alfred just being dwarfed by Superman.
I know.
And he's just like not phased.
No. Yeah.
I mean, he gets dwarfed by Batman all the time.
It's
That's
not
true.
the same.
Yeah, he raised him.
Yeah, he's like, if I give a stern enough voice,
Right.
I'm in charge.
So Batman gets the facts regarding the picture he took of the corpse, who was the woman who threatened Superman with the ring. And Superman is like, hey, I know her. And Batman's like, great, what's her name? He's like, I don't know. But she did have a ring, and she tried to kill me with it. Or at least, maybe she did. It was an accident.
That is super helpful.
Yeah.
She almost killed you, and you don't remember her name? Great Kryptonian brain.
Listen, there's only room for one world's greatest detective. So Batman is like, so did you kill her? So she wouldn't reveal your secret? And Superman's like, how fucking dare you? Like,
I beg your pardon, she died of not natural causes, but not me.
yeah, it wasn't me. And so Batman's like, all right, well, explain her. Like, tell me more about her so I can, like, piece it together. And he's like, she knew my identity. She knew also that, like, the ring had, like, a special stone that could kill me in it. And I'm sure that the ring is connected to Lex Luthor. And he's
This
like,
is where I want Batman to be like, oh, you mean she knew your identity? Clark Kent?
well, oh, yeah, no, they've already had that conversation.
No, I like
never
him
had it.
just constantly saying it.
Yeah, Clark. He does that later. Like, he'll do that throughout Dark Knight Returns. But, like, yeah.
Shut the hell up.
X-Day on the Arc Clay. So Batman's
What's
like,
your name now?
there's a ring he knows about that could kill him, but he doesn't know where it is, and he doesn't know I have it. For now, I'm going to let him think it's just out in the open somewhere.
All right.
So then they go to LexCorp. And he's like, all right, well, since our next lead is LexCorp, let's go there. Let's check it out. And so
that's what she was working on. That's the computer, right?
Exactly.
But how do they put together that it's connected to Lex?
Because of the ring. Because Lex had the ring and then she had the ring.
Oh, do they know that Lex had the ring?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because he knew.
Because of the cancer.
Yeah, okay.
So Superman complains about breaking and entering. He's like, oh, I don't normally like break into people's like houses and take their shit or look through it.
You like use your X-ray vision and spy on people all the time. What do you mean? You're still invading their privacy.
Well, absolutely. I do that all the time. I learned everyone's name and address.
Yeah, you're a creep. But like Batman's just going inside.
Right, but I just go in. Yeah. I'm a vigilante.
Look, I don't break that
boundary.
barrier.
That's right. Yeah.
Someone in your house, you're like, okay, there's someone in my house.
Right.
But like, I don't know someone's looking at me with X-ray vision. Like,
well, all I know is it's Superman. I trust Superman. He can look in whenever he wants to.
And Superman likes what he sees.
Batman explains that like you're clumsy and you're stupid. Like your method would have been to bust down a door and then just ask Luthor what you need. Like, and then just your method would have been just to like blast a door down and then shake Luthor down, and then you would never have gotten anything. I know how to get information. Trust me. And Superman's like, well, if I operated the way that you did, I would have killed Luthor long ago. And Batman's like,
I don't kill.
What's your problem?
He's like, what a weird thing to say. Why did you go to that immediately?
That's what I wanted to know, but no one addresses it. And I'm like, boo. So then...
I'm sorry, you went directly to killing?
Right? So then Superman uses...
Are you sure you didn't kill that woman
Seriously,
in the alley?
yeah. No, that's why I'm glad I have this ring. So Superman uses his heat vision to kill all the cameras in the room. That lead
he's killing again?
Yeah, but only robots. And as we all know, that ain't killing. So Superman destroys the robot cameras. And so they run down this like crazy sci-fi corridor, which is of course we've seen earlier.
I love the idea that like Luthor's like, and I will have a crazy sci-fi corridor.
Yeah. Oh, he does. So that's where he keeps his like lab and all this stuff.
He's like, I'm a secret nerd. I just love sci-fi shit.
Look at him.
All the doors should be shaped like L's, though.
That's why he hates
the building is shaped like an L.
Superman. He's like, you're an alien and you're not my friend. No.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. If I always dreamed about if I was going to like discover alien life, that it would think I was rad.
I loved E.T.
So Superman and Batman find an area that looks like it might have housed a ring at some point, but it's gone, and they're like, huh.
I'm sorry, what?
They just jump to that conclusion. They find the area where Lex Luthor had the thing, and he daren't look into it because, of course, the ring was the cause of one of his greatest shames, second only to his loss of hair.
Clearly it has like, it's
got like a little
shadow around the outside of like, oh, a ring was here.
Literally, that's it. They just say, like...
Admittedly, losing your hand is a bigger deal than losing your hair,
right?
But I love the idea that Lex Luthor's like, this is, no.
Right, look, at this rate, I will be a torso by 50. No, Batman goes like, well, it looks like someone took something, that pedestal held something important, and Superman goes, maybe like a ring. And
or like, Lex's hand.
Yeah, or a hand, or like a boglin, like whatever. It could have been anything precious. So
a can of sweet corn.
Or his favorite Funko.
Exactly. So Batman like jumps onto the computers to try and pull up information about the lady who used to work there, or at least the lady who might have been...
I'm sorry, what is he going to put into the search?
Like, what she looked like? I don't know. Looking through records of humans that worked there.
Woman who accused Superman of being Clark Kent.
I mean, admittedly, it would probably be someone who had high clearance, so I'm sure he could like narrow it down by that, but there must be hundreds of employees that work in that building.
Yeah, no, it's true. But Batman knows what the employee looks like, so he has that to go on.
I'm imagining him just going like, nope.
Nope, we're gonna be here a while. No, that is what happens. Batman is just on the computer. He's like, maybe Luthor might have even trashed the files, but I've gone through filthier trash cans in Gotham than his recycling bin, so I can definitely just go through this and recover records. But
oh, look, there she is. Employee of the month, March 2020,
1989. Yeah. So Lex Luthor's private security forces scramble to go attack them. Superman is watching point while Batman pulls up the records and discovers the woman's name was Amanda Marie McCoy and where she lived. So the two of them...
Well, shouldn't Superman know?
Right? Yeah. Amanda McCoy. Oh, that's 7324 Chesterfield Street. As I know. But no, this is...
Batman's like, that's creepy.
Well, this is written by Dan Jurgens. He doesn't know that John Byrne established Superman already knows like everyone's freaking address in Metropolis. But literally, like Lex Luthor's security force is like flying over there to get them, and Superman's like, "Oh crap! The fuzz! Let's go!" So then they just bail.
Look at his face.
Yeah.
He's so upset.
Yeah. So
I thought he was, oh crap, the gala.
yeah. Oh yeah. No. Well,
Oh, no!
They're good.
I'm gonna be late.
So their plan is to go to Amanda's apartment, but Superman wants to shake down Luthor for more information just to see what he knows. Like maybe he's involved in all of this. And so they're like, we'll go to the gala. Cat Grant gets picked up by what she thinks is Delgado, but is actually Chiller.
Right.
And so, yeah, they go to the gala.
So then why do they need the distraction anyway? There, you've got her.
Yeah, I know. Well, remember, Chiller and whatever his name
Shockwave?
is, Shockwave, are going to pick up Cat anyway. So she thinks they're going to the gala, but actually she's being kidnapped.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they wanted the distraction of killing Clark Kent and Lois Lane to keep Superman off their tail, but they've got her.
Well, they don't know. Well, yeah, but she could scream or something. So, but right now she thinks that she's with her boyfriend. So we go to the gala. Clark takes Lois, and Bruce Wayne is there, and we have that scene from Batman vs Superman where like Batman, Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent in public for the first time, and Clark introduces Bruce to Lois Lane, and then Lex Luthor shows up. And he's like, hey!
And the pools are shaped like L's.
Of course they are. We're at Lex Luthor's place. So while Luthor is being introduced to Bruce Wayne, Luthor then brings Kent over, and he's like, actually, Clark Kent and I have a little secret, don't we, Kent? And Clark's like, oh shit. Like,
he's gonna spill it.
He must know who I am, and he's gonna spill it. And he's like, you saved my life in Adventures of Superman number 447.
And it says it, Adventures of Superman 447.
That's what the editor's note says, but more
How
or less.
meta.
And so, I'm in your debt. And Clark's like, oh my God, this is rough. Like, this is stressful. But
how do people do this?
yeah, exactly. Ugh. How can Bruce get away with this? So then the inner gang people show up, and
Ta-da!
they attack. So Clark tries to sneak off to become Superman.
Right.
And as he's about to change into Superman, a like laser blast is near him, and Luthor goes, Kent, watch out! And like just pushes him out of the way. He's like, there! I saved your life, we're square, I don't owe you anything. Fuck you!
I'd love it if he tried to barrel Superman over and push him out of the way. Just bounces right off.
He just breaks an arm.
Jesus.
My arm!
This guy must have played football.
Yeah, he did. He was a real cheater.
Sir, we're gonna have to amputate the arm. I'm sorry.
No!
But that's the good arm.
I know.
We
that's
have
what
this
makes it so
robot
difficult.
one for you.
Can I have hair at least?
And that's when
Never.
Lex Luthor became Metallo.
So Clark and Lois chat where like Clark's like, all right, I gotta go be Superman. Good luck. And then Bruce finds Lois and he's like, stay here. Like, hide behind this shrub. She's like, whoa, okay. So then he becomes
Got
Batman.
real gruff
Whoa,
there.
yeah, he's like intense.
Yeah. So Superman heats up the water in the pool, which
A
creates...
nice 75 degrees.
It's-
Ooh, and Intergang's just delighted.
yeah, they all jump in the pool and
They're
it
like,
becomes
"Never
this big,
mind."
ridiculous party. Let's get it started! So that like everybody can be obscured and Superman could change and Batman could show
I'm
up.
sorry,
and
superheated steam. Everyone's gonna get burns.
everyone's like running away from the violence.
Wait,
so
what kind of pool is this?
it's going to be chlorine. It's going to be gross. Maybe it's a saltwater pool. You know,
I
it's one of
hope
those.
so.
So Superman like just smashes through the inner gang flying saucer that he used to get here, and Batman's like, "Whoa, I didn't know that you murdered your enemies." And Superman's like, "It was empty, man. Like, what do you always jump into conclusions?
It was empty.
You're always accusing me of killing people."
There's like a guy right there.
Yeah, no, like he says, I used my X-ray vision to make sure that no one else was in the section I destroyed.
Oh, okay.
So
What about all the shrapnel that's gonna fall down? And what about the craft that's now...
it lands harmlessly over there. While we were, this must have been a distraction. Let's go check on Cat Grant like we should have in the beginning. So while that's happening,
and no one's like, where did Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne go?
no. In fact, Lois
they're
does.
billionaires, Tiffany. Not
Clark.
and Bruce, but I'm talking about like the people at this party. Oh no, it's just
No, Bruce is a billionaire.
It's
actually a journalist award
a
ceremony.
journalist award.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people are not billionaires.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
true.
they're just running for their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be part of the action.
Yeah, no. Shockwave and Chiller also were given orders to when they recovered Cat, and they were like, "Oh, we got this guy Delgado. What do we do with him?" And they're like, "Oh, destroy the building, so that it looks like the building just collapsed, and then leave his corpse in there." And so Shockwave's going to destroy the building, which he does, and Chiller.
Are you gonna kill him first, or are you just gonna collapse the building around him? Because you should probably kill him first.
No, he collapsed the building first. Just stupid. So then Chiller reveals that he is Chiller to Cat as they drive this like fake taxi cab into a truck, and then that truck takes them to Intergang.
And then that truck transforms into
a robot, and then it flies them to Cybertron. So then
now you're trapped in a vehicle.
Right.
You could have gotten out of the cab before.
Then we're in chapter 3, and this one is written by Roger Stern with art by Bob McLeod and Brett Breeding.
Oh.
Yeah.
They split it up this time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't handle this.
And I love how all the information just piles of crap on top of stuff. It's bad news. We lost all the troops at Luthor's. That did not work very well. Good news. Chiller has Cat Grant. Moon and his machines, his brainwashing machines, are ready to go, and nothing can stop Intergang now. And I'm like, that's not really...
I mean, Superman clearly stopped you.
Right? So Superman flies Batman around while they complain and argue with each other.
That's only because he's grumpy because he's being held.
No, Superman's the grumpy one. He's like, I don't even need you. I don't know why you're even here, Batman. Batman's like, dude.
Well, Superman, you've been doing a bang-up job keeping Cat Grant safe, so yeah. No.
So Superman notices that, like, the warehouse across the street from Cat Grant's apartment has been destroyed, and he knew that, like, Gangbuster was in or near there, so he goes to check that out while Batman goes to Cat Grant's apartment.
Well, he should know that, because that's where they left him.
Right. So Superman checks, and he discovers that Gangbuster has escaped, and he's fine. While Batman checks out Cat Grant's apartment, Gangbuster fills Superman in on what happened, where Shockwave like stomped everything and destroyed the building, and then Gangbuster just gave him the slip. Gangbuster says that he thinks like he must have had like a hallucination or something. Like he's like, I saw some guy and I thought maybe it might have been like Chiller's face turned into mine, but maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, that would be too fantastical. Alien from a distant star that protects his planet single-handedly.
And man who dresses like a bat.
Right. Well, Batman's not even in the conversation.
I was very nervous and scared, so like,
okay.
I don't know what I saw.
So then Shockwave emerges from the rubble, and he's like, I'm gonna fight Superman.
He didn't leave?
He brought the building down around himself, because he knew he was gonna survive it. So he's like, oh, I'll just smash the whole building.
Yeah, I'm Shockwave. I direct, like, the waves out, but I also directed them down, so there was a hole forming.
Right?
This dude's like, I'm basically Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, sweet. Superman's here. I'll kill him, just like I didn't kill Gangbuster already.
Oh man, I suck.
Wow, am I the worst? Maybe I
Yes.
should just stay down here.
Maybe I should
couldn't even kill a guy.
You couldn't kill Booster Gold when he first appeared. So we meet Reverend Moon, or Dr. Moon, and he's like, yes, put her in the total recall chair. I mean, the brainwashing chair. And so they do. And I love how they're like, Cat Grant is like, wait, don't you want... What are you gonna do? Are you gonna kill me? And they're like, no, we're gonna make you give a better testimony. And she's like, what? That's insane. Meanwhile,
Yes.
the Intergang guys show up and they're like, oh man, like Batman and Superman sure gave us a run for our money, but like we sure broke up that Luthor party. And then Chiller is like, excuse me, what were you doing? And they're like, oh, we went to the party to create a diversion to distract Batman and Superman so that you guys could do what you were doing. And he's like, I already kidnapped her. I didn't need a diversion.
Thank you!
That's super dumb.
Apparently me and Chiller, same page.
It's more like you and Roger Stern are on the same page about what Dan Jurgens did. Where he's like, that's so stupid.
That led them right to our doorstep, essentially.
Yes.
Like all this extra crap you did?
Yeah. He's like, why did you draw up all this attention? And then Moon is like, Mr. Chiller, can I talk to you over here for a second? And so they talk, and he's like, okay, so full disclosure, I totally agree with you, but don't like yell at these guys because I don't have special powers or anything, and it looks like you're falling the fuck apart. So like, let's just leave them alone,
Like-
get paid, and leave.
Like literally, if Shockwave had gotten Gangbuster without revealing himself and just brought the building down on top of him, they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have made the connection, and they would have had Cat Grant, and
That's
the
right.
Intergang would have never been in their minds.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It would have been in better shape.
That's right. So literally, Chiller is just like, dude, like the problem is they totally jeopardized this mission. Like we could deal with Gangbuster, but what if we deal with Superman and Batman? And then Batman shows up and like, haha, it's me.
I love the idea of them being like, they're like, I mean, Superman's a problem.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it's Batman.
But oh shit, it's Batman.
I think Batman actually eats people.
Well, because we're not even sure if he's real.
Right.
He's scary. So Batman and Superman show up, and they're just like, oh man, Shockwave must have told them where we were, because he's a stupid asshole. And so then, they like a bunch of these Intergang guys just go, let's dog pound Superman.
It'll work this time.
And so it totally doesn't. Meanwhile, Dr. Moon tries to brainwash Cat, but Gangbuster was also brought along, so he attacks Moon,
I
knocks him
appreciate
out.
that Moon is committed to what he's doing.
This is what I'm here for.
He's not like just standing there watching them fight. He's like, oh, I better do this now.
Yeah, this is also his machines. He's like, this is all my equipment.
You got to understand, if I don't brainwash her, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
But if they wreck you or she's already brainwashed,
Doesn't matter. I still win. Yeah.
Yeah, who cares?
So Gangbuster punches out Moon. He tries to free Cat, but then is shot by shock troopers that work for Inner Gang. But Gangbuster's a pretty tough cookie, so he also just gets up and punches them. And you're like, all right. And so then a bunch of shock troopers try to shoot Superman, and a bunch of them do, and they like blast Superman.
I thought he had nunchucks on his belt. He has a chain belt with batons on the side.
It also is nunchucks, I believe.
It's very Daredevil.
Yes.
It's very Daredevil.
Oh, you mean the fact that he's like a non-superpowered but costumed crime fighter that only operates within a very narrow field of a big metropolitan city?
That.
Yeah. Batman and Superman beat the bad guys, and then the cops show up because Superman called them before they got there. And so they arrive to clean up.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Yep. Cat smooches Gangbuster on the cheek, which is also being viewed by Mannheim in his closed-circuit TV. And he's like, oh, they may have won this round, but we'll get them next time, Gadget. And so then...
Like this guy next to him's like, I think it's sweet.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, boss. Isn't that nice? Nice. It all got wrapped up in a neat little package. Mannheim's like,
yeah, but we don't get the package!
They beat it! So Superman is like, all right, Cat and Gangbuster. By the way, have you met my close personal friend Bat? Oh, he's gone. And Batman beat the crap out of and tied up Dr. Moon and had time to leave a note.
I'm Batman.
P.S. You know where to find me. And Batman's like, I sure do. So then they go back to McCoy's apartment. You know, the dead woman. And so
that note was very much like, we're done with the adventure.
But it's not over yet.
It makes sense that it's not over.
The note should be.
Yeah, but the note is definitely like that's it. And it's like, all's well that ends well. So Batman goes to McCoy's apartment. He finds her diary, which she was writing in one of the previous Superman stories. So we've established that exists.
Okay.
And Batman
diary.
And I love Batman just has a seat on her couch.
I love that image of him.
In her ransacked apartment.
Like, it's just like...
Yeah, it's true.
I've been crouching and like perching and fighting all day long. This is a moment for Bruce.
It would be great if he like did that and then he hears Superman coming. He's like, but no, he stays relaxed.
I'd love it if he just took the cowl off while he did.
Fuck it.
Oh, thank God.
He just leans to the side. And he's like,
I wonder if she's got any beers in the fridge.
So Superman shows up and he's like, dude, you didn't wreck the place. And Batman's like,
you think I did this?
I'm Batman. I didn't wreck if I needed to get information, I wouldn't need to wreck the place.
He's like, you're so dumb. We are so much trouble.
Yeah, oh my God.
You're so strong.
We gotta clean this place up. Oh, you mean like so Batman's like, oh my God, Superman, what is your problem?
Like, what?
So Batman's like, yeah, it's all in this book. So then he just reads the diary to him. And he's like, yeah, the diary says, you're Clark Kent, you dumbass. Keep a lid on your identity, man. And then he proceeds to read, like, she was a scientist.
I listen to people in their homes. I don't read their diaries with my X-ray vision. That is
an
rude.
invasion. Yeah, well, she's dead. She's not going to miss it. So
he's like, I mean, all right, I read Lois's.
Right. Oh, naturally. So
and Jimmy's.
Oh, yeah. And Perry's. And my parents, Well, so and a couple people in
and Lana's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, quite a few people. Batman ends the story like Sherlock Holmes, where he's like, let me just tell you what happens.
He's like, well, I have to explain it to you, Superman. You thought I ransacked this place.
Yeah, you thought I cut holes in the couch.
So, have a seat.
Yeah.
Before you hurt yourself,
I warmed it up
pal.
for you.
You dingus.
So he proceeds to explain, like, she was a computer scientist brought in by Luthor. They built a machine to figure out who he is. They had the scrapbook. That's where it was, like, recovered. They fed the scrapbook and all this information into the machine. Found out it was Clark Kent. Nobody believed it except for her. She definitely did. She called Superman. She hires a private investigator to track Clark around. But before he can find out that he's Superman, the Inner Gang assassins that were sent to kill Clark in the first place mistook him for Clark and kill him. So that ends that loose end that we didn't even know about in the first place. So then she goes back to LexCorp in a radiation suit, steals the ring, brings it back, gets killed by accident, loses the ring, it goes to a Vagrant, the Vagrant goes to Gotham, and that's where Batman found the ring. And Batman's like, and that's why I have this. And it's in a special lead box, and Superman's like, you had it the whole time, you son of a bitch, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, man, good thing I did. Because everyone is stupid and crazy and wants to kill you.
Also, I'm going to hold on to this, and that's where he gets his Kryptonite ring.
No, He says,
No!
he puts it on the table and he goes, anonymous tips to the police should send people here and wrap up loose ends, but I would consider taking the diary and any of her notes, which lead to the identity of Superman. So good luck to you. So he leaves the box behind and he leaves.
Oh,
and
you
goes
can't
home.
you can't trust this Superman to figure all that out, Batman.
All I asked you to do was take the diary and call the cops. It's a two-step process, for God's sake. So he goes back to Wayne Manor. It's a couple weeks later, I think it's a few weeks later, and we see like the last headlines: guilty verdict at Edge trial, so Edge went to jail, and Jane Doe identified. So that story was wrapped up. We got the killing and the trial. Hooray!
Great. Edge played no part in this other than just a weird plot point on the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
I love this panel.
Isn't it great?
The panel of Batman is awesome.
Yep.
I really like it. I like the lighting on him. I have no idea where that light source is coming from, and I don't care.
It's a city. They could be coming from a big sign. Or,
Well, I mean that light source, yes, but that I don't know. But
yeah, I
like
don't know.
it's just great looking.
Right? So the alarm is tripped in the cave. Alfred is like, should I, get my elephant gun and go down there? And Batman's like, nah, let me take care of it.
Batman's like, dude,
I got it. So then
you and that
Yours
elephant
did.
gun.
He doesn't
It's
really
so
say he's
rare
gonna
I
get
get
the
to use
elephant
it.
gun. I
Has
just-
he used it yet?
No. Well, yes, in Batman vs. Predator.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Has
he
that
definitely-
happened yet?
Yeah, that happened. That happened like 89. Yeah, it happened within this calendar year.
I love that. I love that he's like ready to go. He's like, dude,
Dude, the Predator was here like a couple weeks ago.
you never know.
Yeah. So Batman puts on his Batman costume, goes down to the cave. Superman's there. He's like, hey, nice place you got here. This is the first time Superman sees the Batcave. And you're like, oh, that's kind of fun.
You got a lot of weird stuff.
Like this weird dinosaur.
Well, but it's also like,
Oh yeah, this is the book that has this.
it has that weird dinosaur on it. But like, is this where Clark decides to kind of like live in the Fortress of Solitude? Is he kind of like, I guess this is kind of a thing that people do. They have big caves dedicated to their stuff.
Well, especially when you have a secret identity.
Exactly. So I want to go there. So,
But I'm not going to put mine below my apartment because I can't.
right. So I'll go to the Arctic. Well, that was where it was set up originally. So he's like, look, we're not like friends, you and I. Like we did, as evidenced by the last 3 issues of this adventure. But people think you're a psycho vigilante or like a vampire, but I know that you're just like a guy who's trying to do the right thing. And I think that's really cool. And I have a lot of people who have tried to take over my mind within the last like couple of months in my continuity lately. And if someone I trusted had this Kryptonite ring, maybe it would have like saved us some page real estate. So I want you to keep it. And Batman's like, okay.
Superman's like, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, what do I... Well, he'd take it to the fortress.
I'm just saying, he's like,
No, you throw it in the freaking sun.
He does throw stuff in the sun, but that's like Eradicator stuff. There literally is a scene in like an earlier story where he like wraps up all of the like Kryptonian clothes and crap and just throws it into the sun.
This is a weapon that could kill you. I better not destroy that. I better give that to somebody.
Yeah. No, he says like, I want it in the hands of someone that I can trust with my life.
So Batman takes it and goes, get the hell out of my cave, you alien!
It ends with him just having the box and just looking at you in one of the most undynamic images of Batman I've ever seen in my life.
and then Alfred, well, it should be, and like I trust you, and then Alfred tries to shoot him with the elephant
yeah,
gun.
blam! What the hell was this? He's a little jumpy ever since we had another alien breaking him apart.
Anyway,
Was that canon? I don't
Love
know.
that.
Don't let that be a reflection on me. That's just Alfred. We haven't installed the new system yet.
T?
Tea, sir? Please. So yeah, that's how it wraps up. It's kind of like, okay. I
What?
like we
I
ended
mean,
it.
it's a nice ending. It
I do
really,
like it.
shows them building their bond.
Yeah.
Which we knew they always had.
I feel like there could have been
Yes.
any other reason for them to build this bond, and I think it should have been completely divorced from whatever was going on in Superman, because this is just so convoluted.
Yeah.
And like,
And Batman's just like, I don't know what's going on half
and
the time.
clearly, Stern
Yeah.
agrees with me that like the plot in this, like the second
in
issue,
each-
doesn't make any sense.
Nope, but it looks great. That's all it takes.
I guess, is that all it takes?
This is Batman realizing that his heart is like starting to warm up. He's just like,
oh, no.
no, I can't have friends.
I think I made a friend.
Son of a bitch.
Crap. I'm compromised.
No, I'm supposed to have the foot up on him. I gave him all the clues
Yeah.
about her apartment and what he should do and to hide his secret identity. He just comes here, he gives me a gift.
Alfred, I have to go back and train.
Yeah. I didn't get you anything. No, you gave me a friendship. So yeah, that's...
No, I didn't.
No, I did not. Get out.
Hang on, I'm gonna go get you some cash.
The funny thing is, yeah,
Every
exactly.
year.
Yeah, that's true. That is, in the animated series, that is canon. I think the next time we see the ring, for the most part, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do vividly remember that, like, the next time we see it, he keeps it in, same box, by the way, that Batman had and gave to Clark in the first place, but, like, he keeps it in, like, a special dome. When he pushes the button, it, like, lifts the lid. But we see it after Superman dies. He's like, Superman gave this to me because he trusts me, and now he's dead. I should destroy it, but I won't. I just remember that was like the next time we see the ring.
Okay.
Like, it's not like he uses it again. And also, of course, we're like, is that like the next time the Batman and Superman team up is just like this, and then he dies? Like, it's really rare to see them team up.
I mean, I will say it's a very interesting thing to have him like die, and then he's like, I should destroy this. It has no more use. But at the same time, like,
no,
that was the gift that his friend gave him.
Right.
When they first became friends.
Right. That's kind of true. It's like sad.
Yeah, he's like,
that's his friendship ring.
Oh, yeah. The one that will kill me if I wear it without any special protection.
Well.
But
and
Superman,
will also kill him.
Yeah, but Superman won't die, I think, for another 30 issues. So
it's got some time.
It's got a couple weeks.
Yeah, apparently at this pace.
Exactly.
Christ.
And yeah, and maybe we'll see if we ever do the like Arthur Adams drawn, John Byrne and like written Superman versus Vampire story. It's much shorter.
Bleh.
This is the post-crisis continuity. This is what we see where we watch Batman and Superman become friends or colleagues. It's funny because it's almost like there is an edict that's like, don't make them friends. So we see this whole adventure where they're jerks to each other sometimes if they remember, oh yeah, that's right, they're not supposed to be friends. And then at the end, Superman's like, we're not friends. Here's this ring that can kill me. Bye. It's like, dude. Like, we all know what's going on here.
Best bro gift ever!
Yeah, like, come on. Like, that's cool.
Also, yeah, I'm not a fan of the title.
It's, yeah. See you guys next week. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Keep reading. Oh, I'm glad we didn't do this one. It's the like debut of Hank Henshaw and like the Fantastic Four.
Oh.
It's just a really gross, terrible story about like look at the Thing. He's just a bunch of garbage that he landed in.
Oh.
And he can't talk, and all he wants is to die. Which is like the most one-dimensional interpretation of the Thing you could possibly imagine.
Oh.
Is that him?
No, that's Hank Henshaw. That's the Thing.
Bizarre.
That's the man who would be Cyborg Superman. But anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually weird that they put, like, this collection's weird.